Made possible through support from ARC Thrift Stores, Colorado Developmental Disabilities Council, Developmental Pathways, the Limbaugh Law Firm, and the Arc of Aurora. A Think Change training.
Hi everyone, Erica Dennison here with the Think Change program, a social enterprise of the Arc of Aurora. Here today bringing you another vodcast, video, and podcast audio series all about finances, assets, and disability, and really what we need to know. This particular episode is really going to be talking about benefits counseling, which I'm really excited to have our special guest with us here today because she is truly an expert in this area. As a gentle reminder, this is not intended to give you any type of medical or legal advice. So if you are seeking any type of personalized medical or legal advice, please consult with your own medical or legal advisors. So my special guest with me today, I'm so excited for you to be here. So if you could do me a favor and introduce to yourself to all of our viewers and listeners who you are and what you do and a little bit about yourself, that would be great.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to talk about this conversation. It's an important piece to disability benefits. So I am Chantal Rockman. I am the Executive Director of Integrating Supports Colorado. And we provide employment services, which also includes benefits planning. We have been around for a little over 3 years, so we are relatively new, but we're mighty. So excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And
Sure.
you actually shared with me with the organization that you guys are even beyond Colorado.
Absolutely. So our home office is in Missouri, where they focus on residential services and employment services. But we are also in Kentucky, state of Kentucky, as well as we just recently signed a contract with the state of Texas. So our reach is broad. So
that's fantastic.
It's an important service to be able to provide to people.
Absolutely. And significantly more people that you'll be able to reach and hopefully help and support with all these benefits. Navigating the benefits world and how confusing it is, having an expert in that is certainly appreciated, I'm sure.
It is, yes.
So could you share with me and our viewers and listeners a little bit about really what does a benefits counselor do specifically for people in the disability community?
Sure, great question. So a benefits planner really is an individual that partners with someone who has a disability to help them navigate what their benefits are going to look like as they either enter the workforce or re-enter, so they have a really good idea of how working is going to impact those benefits, because ultimately we want individuals to reach financial stability. And people who are living on SSI or SSDI alone, really, it keeps them in poverty. And so we want people to work. We want them to re-enter the workforce. They're excited to work. They want to contribute. So having the access to a benefits planner to help them kind of navigate that process is just a huge step for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think it can just be so complicated. I mean, whether you are a whiz in knowing all the ins and outs of your benefits associated with just your day-to-day life, or if maybe you have a newly acquired disability, I mean, navigating that can be incredibly complicated.
It can be.
Yeah.
Social Security itself just is a huge machine, right? And it's very convoluted, and there's a lot of moving parts inside of Social Security. So to have somebody that really understands it, the processes, the language, in of itself can be difficult. So to be able to partner with somebody who really understands that is a huge asset for someone.
Absolutely. And so I super appreciate the work that you do
Well,
for our community.
Thank you. I love doing it.
That's great.
Yes.
It's good to know. It's good to know that you enjoy the work that you do, right?
I do. Yes.
What would you tell people that, why is benefits counseling important?
Benefits counseling is important, one, because if you don't understand how those benefits work when you're going to work, it could really impede, again, that financial stability, right? Because you could get yourself into an overpayment situation. You could not really understand, how many hours can I work, whether you're an SSDI recipient, it is going to affect your trial work period months, and things like that. So it's really crucial, crucial. Yeah.
So really, I mean, the work that you do can really help people have a better understanding of potentially, how many hours they could potentially work
Yep.
without having it impact their benefits too much. And if
Correct.
it does impact their benefits, tools and tricks on maybe what they could do in order to make sure that they have those protections in place so they continue to get those essential services that they need.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. And we
wonderful.
also, not only do benefits planners help individuals who are receiving SSI or SSDI, which is a federal program, we also help them if they're receiving those local benefits, which is housing or SNAP benefits. It helps them because it's all needs-based. So if you're working, you have to be able to understand that as well, and those benefits can be impacted. So we kind of try, as a benefits planner, to kind of encompass all benefits that somebody may be receiving.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you talk about benefits, which leads me into a really important question and topic, is that benefits trafficking totally happens, right?
Yes.
And people may not always kind of understand, well, what does that mean? You talked about SNAP, so Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Someone could potentially traffic someone's benefits to not use to the person's benefit receiving them, but to someone else's benefit. Social Security, right? So benefits trafficking is a real problem. And evidence suggests that people with disabilities are victims of exploitation,
Yes.
trafficking at significantly higher rates than maybe someone who does not have a disability. So this is an important thing I want to talk about is, what advice do you have for someone to protect their money, like their benefits?
So a piece of advice that I would offer them, one is know what you have, learn about it, take that initiative to ask those important questions of whether it's a benefits planner, whether you're receiving services through another agency, DVR, or things like that, or even your case manager. Ask those important questions because if they don't know, they're going to find the resources. It is just critical. As you said, people with disabilities are often victimized. And I think too, sometimes people with disabilities are so eager to offer up information, but they're offering up that information to the wrong people. So it's really important to know and kind of know who's on your team and who can help you when those questions come up.
Absolutely. And who to contact if you run into trouble.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you for that advice. I
Absolutely.
appreciate
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
So, benefits counseling. It sounds like a pretty awesome resource that's out there. So how could someone start with a benefits counselor or locate one? Keeping in mind, I know the work that you do, but also keeping in mind that, where we are in this nation, it's huge. So
Right.
maybe they couldn't necessarily work with a benefits counselor here, but how could they maybe locate one and maybe start working with someone?
Well, there's a couple different ways an individual could locate a benefits planner. The first one is through WIPA, which is the Work Incentive Planning Assistance, and that is a program that's funded through Social Security, and so they can receive those services for free. The other way an individual could receive those services is through DVR, which is the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, getting connected to a counselor there, because DVR then can help pay for those services. And then there's private pay. If an individual they don't want to get connected to either one of those services, but they just need a little bit of assistance, and they're willing to do private pay, you can also do that. Then in the state of Colorado, we have an amazing resource. It's called DB 101. So it's Benefits Planning 101. And this is where an individual can go out to the website and they can plug in their information on their own. It doesn't replace a benefits planner, but it's a great place for an individual to really start. So they can plug in their information. It spits out a report at the very end and kind of gives them an idea of how income is going to affect those benefits, and it really gives them a good idea how maybe their SSI is going to be impacted, because we all know even though you go back to work, your SSI is going to be reduced. At the end of the month, you're still going to come out financially ahead because you are working. And DB 101 kind of paints that general picture for somebody, so they can access that. They can access DB 101 through just going to that website or going to the Colorado Office of Employment First website. And on that website, they can click the link and it will take them directly to it. So
What a great resource.
it's an amazing resource. And I recommend, even if an individual is working with a counselor or a benefits planner, to still check it out, right, on their own time. And it really is a great place for them to start learning some of the language and how things are impacted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's wonderful advice. Thank you for
You're
sharing
very
that.
welcome.
As we wrap up this series, do you have any last minute thoughts or anything else that you want to add that would be important for people to know specific about benefits counseling?
I would just encourage anybody who is receiving any benefit and wants to work to reach out to a benefits planner, whether you're currently working and you have questions. Maybe there's an opportunity for a promotion to come up and you're just not quite sure. Reach out to a benefits planner. If this is your first job after college or something like that and you just want to get some initial information, reach out. So anytime I think employment is involved, really it's going to start with a benefits planner.
That's great.
Because we don't ever want to have anybody end up in a situation that, you know, they were caught off guard or blindsided by. We want to make sure that we can provide and equip them with the ability to make an informed decision about how really their benefits are going to be impacted.
That's great advice.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome.
I think that's a wonderful way to wrap up this episode and just giving people those tools and resources that they need to make sure that they are living their best life and not running into hopefully any barriers or walls, with making sure they're getting everything that they need while also having the opportunity to be a contributing citizen, right?
And that's really, you know, I think as a person with a disability and I look, you know, inward into that community, that's all we really want, right? We want to pay taxes, right? We want to be at work where we can live amongst a community that is out there. They're enjoying their life. They're living their best life, like you just said, Erica. So we're here to do whatever we can do to make that happen.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Well, everyone,
It's my
thank
pleasure.
you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you listening to this great advice that Chantel had to share. If you have any other needs for resources specific to benefits counseling, we'll be sure to link that in our show notes. But thanks again for tuning in, and be sure to tune into our next episodes featuring other external guests within our community so that you are getting the answers to all of the things that you need. Thanks so much and take care. Bye, everyone.